Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another video on the GXP. So as you've seen in the last little clip, I drove the car up to the store and back, and whenever I turned it off I could hear it bubbling. So I loosened this some to release some of the pressure, and I guess I loosened it a little bit too much and the cap blew off and all the coolant went everywhere. So as I had seen in the last video, it was leaking out of the head down onto the little thing down there, sticking off the engine block. And so I knew it was a little wet. I knew pretty much, I was pretty sure that it either blew the head gasket or it wasn't sealed all the way. And yeah, I'm like 99% sure that's the case still, even after tightening down all the head studs. So now it's all going to come apart. The front head for sure has to come off, possibly the rear head. I ordered those new head gaskets. They are in Tulsa. They should be here either tomorrow, which will be Saturday, or Monday. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this thing torn down some. I don't have to completely remove the water pump housing. I mean, I probably could, but I'm definitely gonna have to unbolt the power steering pump and reservoir. Those are gonna have to kind of go to the side. The alternator and alternator bracket has to come off, which means the belt has to come back off. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some bullshit to get this apart, but I want to go ahead and start working on it and getting some stuff pulled apart, so that way whenever the new gaskets come in, I can pretty much just start putting it back together. I have a thread chaser or a tap, so I can chase all the threads again, get all the crap out of there. So that is going to be the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting stuff disconnected and yeah, kind of go from there. So everything I just did a couple days ago, the manifolds, crossover, all that, I got to do the same thing all over again. I've just got to take it down further. So intake has to come off, air box has got to come out. Yeah, this is going to be kind of a pain with the engine being in the car, but I'm going to have to get it done. So it kind of sucks, but that's how it goes sometimes. So I'm going to quit rambling on, start getting some of this stuff pulled apart. I've already got some tools out, so I'm going to go ahead and start pulling stuff apart, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so it's been about 45 minutes or so. I've got the front exhaust manifold off, and look, you can see right there, all wet with coolant. Same with that one. That one looks like it was getting a little bit. This one down here looks dry. That's the one that the rockers were loose. So that'd be cylinder 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. So 1, 3, and 5 all have some coolant in the exhaust. So yeah, it was definitely leaking a little bit. I was 100% right, but that's okay. It's gonna come back apart. So I just want to give you guys a little update, show y'all I've got the front manifold, the crossover, throttle body. A lot of the harness is all unplugged and kind of just slopped over to the side. I had to remove the throttle body so that I could get the crossover pipe to come out. Ah, but man, it's getting there. It's getting there. So I'm going to keep working on it. I guess I got to pull the belt and get the alternator off and that alternator bracket, which there's one pulley down underneath that blocks a bolt, like I had to do before to change the fuel injectors. So yeah, all that whole thing's got to come off. I can get the rear coils off of the rear valve cover, and then once the alternator and alternator brackets off, I should be able to get to the bolts for the intake manifold. Let's see, this one here is blocked by the alternator bracket, so that's gonna have to come off before the intake can come off. But then once the intake is off, then it should be good from there. So I should be able to pull the intake manifold off, and then yeah, then after that it should just be like the 3 15mm bolts over here, and that should unbolt the water pump housing from the head. And then I can unbolt this dog bow mount bracket over here. I should still be able to get to the bolts. And then, yeah, then after that, I should be able to remove the front head. But, yeah, I'm just going to keep on moving along, trying to get some more stuff done, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright, you guys, it's been like another 30 or 40 minutes or so. And so I've taped up some of the harness over here, because none of these wires over here had tape on them. I ran out, so that's why that one's not taped up. But I've got those over here to the side. I kind of just tucked the harness in right here so it's not laying over everything over there. I got the fuel line disconnected. I started working on the lower intake, and I was able to use an 8mm wrench. And I was able to get this back here on the one bolt that's hiding under the alternator bracket. And I've got it completely loose. So I'm going to use the 8mm socket on the impact, and I'm just going to pull all the other bolts out. They're all 8mm bolts. I believe there's 10 of them altogether. And then after those are loose, as long as I have enough clearance, I should be able to just pull this out. So I'm going to work on that right now. I'm going to zip all these bolts out and try to get this intake manifold off, and I'll give y'all another update. Alright, so I was able to snake out the intake and get that bolt out. It was kind of a pain in the ass, but she's off. So now I can see what I'm dealing with. It definitely looks like it's leaked a little bit of oil. Not ideal at all. So I'm going to get that cleaned up a little bit. But I mean, she was running really good, so I am happy about that. So these are our intake. Alright. That valve is open. That one's closed. That one's closed. Well, it's alright. Overall, everything looks pretty good. Like I said, it's a little dirty, a little bit of oil, but overall, looking good. So I guess I'm gonna keep on. I've got to. I need to, I guess, unbolt the power steering pump and this reservoir. It's just a 10mm bolt on the reservoir right there. And then we got 3, what are those, 12 or I think they're 13 mils. Yeah, see there's one there, and one there. So that'll get the pump off, and then the pump is connected to the reservoir, and the reservoir is connected to the lines. So it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I think I can get it. I think I can manage. And it looks like that steam port was leaking some pressure. So I'm going to have to double check on the steam ports. Just make sure that we're not leaking anything, because yeah, that definitely looks like some coolant. I need to figure out what's up with all this oil. Why all this oil is everywhere, but overall it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. So I'm going to keep working on this a little bit more. I guess I'm going to get the belt off and start removing that alternator and alternator bracket. And yeah, and then go from there. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys. Well, I've been working on this. I've got the bracket is loose, but that bolt right there is actually touching the tensioner pulley, and I have to go from underneath, and I've got to take the bolt out of the spring. You can kind of see the top one right there. But yeah, so I've got to get the bolt out of the spring so I can push this down or pull it up, whichever, either way. But I need to get the bolt out of the spring so I can move the tensioner out of the way to pull the bolt out, and then this bracket will come off. But I think I've made some pretty good progress for tonight, early this morning. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning, so I come out here at about 1:30 or 2 a.m. So I've only been out here for, I don't know, a couple hours, 2.5 hours or so, and I think I've done pretty damn good so far. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna be finished for tonight, and I will continue working on this in the daylight tomorrow. So y'all have a good night, and I'll catch you guys in the morning and the daylight. Hey there, YouTube. So it's the next day, it's the daylight, it's almost 6 p.m. so I've been up for like 5 or 6 hours, and the new manager lady's been driving around all day, so we're not supposed to be working on cars, so I haven't really done much. But the head gaskets did show up today, and so did the new radiator cap. The radiator cap looks a little bit different than how it was advertised. I mean, it looks pretty much the same here, but this side is where it looks a little different. The picture on the listing showed it looking identical to just like this, and that is a significant difference there. Yeah, I just don't know if I trust this, but I guess it's worth the shot once it all goes back together. If I still have an issue with the Motorrad, I might use that one. But so another thing was, I was watching this other YouTube channel called like Ray's something, I don't remember, but he was doing a Monte Carlo with the LS4, and he was talking about the head gaskets and how they have this little tab right here, and so this will always go to the left. And I was looking at pictures of whenever I built this engine, and on the rear head I actually have the gasket backwards. I didn't know at the time, so I don't know, I'm guessing these say front on both sides. Maybe I don't even know how it could happen like that, but one side has coolant passages, the other side there is nothing there. So the rear head is blocked off, the gasket is blocking the coolant passages, which is probably one of the reasons why it's leaking. The front one is on correct. As you can see, the little tab is right there. So not really sure why the front one was leaking, but I shall figure it out. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little update, let y'all know that the gaskets did show up. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna give it like another hour or so. I'm gonna eat some dinner, and then I'm gonna come out here and continue working on this and try to make some more progress on this thing tonight. So you shall stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Hey YouTube, so it's a little bit later. It's about 11 p.m. So the manager lady's been gone for a few hours. I've been over hanging out at David's house, but so I just got back over here and started working on this again. I just grabbed some paper towels and just kind of wiped up all the oil. I've already got the alternator bracket off. I just had to turn the wheel, and I was able just to go right there and pull the bolt out with the impact. That let me move the tensioner out of the way enough to get that bolt out along with the alternator bracket. So it's now out of the way. I just undid the bolt from the power steering reservoir, and I got the 3 bolts out of the power steering pump. So those are all sitting right there. And that's the one for the tensioner spring. So now it's just I've got to get this lifted up a little bit, and then I don't know if you can see the bolt right there, it's a 15. Then there's another bolt right there, that is a 15. And then there is one more. Oh yeah, it's right here behind the power steering pump. So the power steering pump has to come up to get the bolt out from behind it. That goes right there into the head. You can kind of see the bolt, the whole thing. But yeah, there's 3 15 mil bolts that bolt the water pump housing to the head, so those have to come off. And then I also have to pull the power steering pump so I can get to that steam port bolt, because it's directly under the power steering pump. So that whole steam port thing has to come off. And I don't know, I may swap this out with the other one, and I think I'm also going to swap this clamp out with a worm drive style clamp, just because it does look like this was leaking a little bit. And yeah, I don't want any leaks, and it's like even wet way over here. So I'm definitely going to swap this out. I have another one in the trunk, and kind of go from there. So yeah, I've got to get those 3 15 mil bolts out so I can even get the front head off. And then I've still got to undo all the head studs and pull the rockers and the push rods. So I need to get a cardboard box and poke some holes in it so I can put all the push rods in, so they stay in order of the way that they came out, and kind of go from there. So I guess I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright you guys, so in order to get the power steering pump off, there's 2 15 millimeter bolts. One goes right here in the back side of the head, and that bolts this line on with this little ring terminal thing. And then there's also another one that goes on right down here. You can kind of see the threads right there, and that's where this one here, oh yeah, see that one there, bolts on. And then you kind of have to move it around to be able to get this to come over. But I was able to move it, got the steam port removed, and so now, oh, there we go. So now I've got to get that one bolt there removed, and then these two right here. So in order to get that one, I'm going to have to remove this bracket, which is what bolts in the battery. And I guess these bolts are a little bit too long because I can never get them to go in all the way. So I'm going to remove those bolts, remove this little battery tie down bracket, be able to get these 2 15s out. And I'm going to have to move this up so I can get that one out. And then after that, I should be able to pull the valve cover, the rockers and push rods, undo the head bolts, and the front head should just come off. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then to get to the rear head, I still have to undo the exhaust manifold, and there's a little bit more work on the rear head. But I was going back through my Google Photos and watching the videos whenever I put the engine together out of the car, and then I watched the videos from the Monte Carlo LS4 build. And so what he was saying was, on the head gaskets, there's this little notch, and this is the front side of the engine. So this side of the gasket will go towards the crank pulley. So pretty much one gasket is supposed to be a left, and the other one is supposed to be a right. And so with this gasket saying front, this one should go on like so. Well, you notice on the other side it doesn't say anything, but then on one side of this gasket it has coolant passages, and the other side is blocked off. So there's kind of some stuff going on here, because on the videos that I watched, they had one gasket specifically for this side and another gasket specifically for the other side. And both of them are supposed to say front like that, and both fit on this side. These are like two of the exact same gasket, and yeah, I think this is like the exact same thing as what I have on here right now. And I mean, everything looked like it lined up perfectly whenever I had put it together, but I could be mistaken. But just so I have peace of mind, because I don't want to have to do this again, it's all coming apart. So I'm going to go ahead and get this battery tie down removed, get all these other 3 bolts out, that bolt to the front head, and then, yeah, then I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I got the 3 bolts out over here. Power steering stuff sitting over to the side. I got all of the head stud nuts removed, all 10. Now I'm working on the little ones. All these bolts on here are all 12 point, and the only 11 mil 12 point socket that I had is 1/2 inch drive, so had to get in the shed to get the 1/2 inch drive stuff. But now I should be able to get these top 5 broke free, and then I should be able to start pulling the head off. Ever since I've loosened the nuts, it's like dripping some coolant from between there. So evidently there's still a little bit of coolant in the engine. But, oh well, it's too late now. So I'm going to go ahead and get these top bolts loosened up and get them removed. And start getting this, this front head off of here. And I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys. So I've got everything disconnected. So I got all the top nuts and washers removed, and then I had to break all of the head studs free and completely remove the head studs because I can't pull the head up far enough. It hits, excuse me, excuse me. Yeah, so whenever I was pulling the head up, it would come up over these bolts, but then the head was hitting the water pump housing right in here, and I wasn't letting it come up over the main head studs. So now I should be able to just lift this up and slide it out from underneath over here, and it should just come right off. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this head off, and then before I do that, I'm gonna clear this thing off and move it over here closer to where I'm working. There we go. Now, whenever I pull the head off, I can come set it over here on this thing. And because it's going to be dripping oil, so I don't want to make a humongo mess. But, alright, I'm about to get this head pulled off, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, and just like that, the head is off. You see, it definitely looks like it's removed some of this seal. I don't know. I mean, I don't see it completely blown out anywhere. But as you can tell, see, you have coolant passages over here on this side of the gasket, but then on this side there's nothing there. You only have this main passage, and then on this side it's blocked. So I don't know, I guess maybe I do have the rear side, the rear head correct, where this tab is going to be closer to the front as well. I don't know, I'll just have to make sure that the gasket lines up with everything like it's supposed to, and if it's blocked on this side, then that's just how it is, I guess. But yep, that is it. So now I can pop this old gasket off, toss it to the side. I want to get all the coolant out of these front cylinders. Next is going to be, alright y'all, well the wind started picking up a little bit and was blowing all these little fluff things everywhere. So I kind of just took the rockers and tucked them in the head and just set the valve cover back on there to try to keep it as clean as possible. And then I just kind of shut the hood down because all these bugs keep flying around, and we got June bugs already. And but I've got all the coolant out of the cylinders. I tried to clean it up and get it the mating surface as dry as I could. So I've also been taking the head studs, and I've been using paper towels and my thumbnail, and just putting my thumbnail in the threads and just twisting it, doing both sides, trying to get all the crap out. As you can tell, there's thread tape and just all kind of crap stuck in there. So I've just been cleaning all the threads out. And pretty much there's still some coolant in these coolant passages, and every time I try to clean it out, it just more will run out. But I need to get it to where there's no more coolant right there at the edge, so I can get the sealing surface nice and dry. Then I can go ahead and pop the new gasket on, get the head back in place, and then start putting all the head studs back in with thread tape on, and going through the whole torque sequence again. So I think I'm going to try to finish and get the front head back on before I start pulling the rear head off, so that way I'm not reaching over the front of the engine, knocking shit down in there. I want this to be sealed up. So I'm going to keep working on getting the rest of these head studs all cleaned up and getting all the old thread tape off. I've got to get that box out of the shed that has all the thread tape and torque lube and cam and lifter insulation lube and all that stuff in there, and I'm pretty sure I have some Loctite in there as well. And yeah, so I want to get all that stuff on and you know, get everything nice and clean, start putting the front side back together, and then I'll start working on pulling the rear side off once I get the front back together. So y'all just bear with me, and I'll give you guys another update once I have all these cleaned up and I'm ready to start going back together. Alright you guys, so it's been a little bit. I got the box out of the shed with the thread tape. I have another valley cover gasket. So while I have this apart, I may go ahead and just install that new gasket while I have everything apart. And just since there was some oil all around here, just want to make sure we don't have any more leaks. So I've got everything all wiped down, nice and dry. I'm going to go ahead and take the new head gasket, set it into place. I even just took a few, like 10 minutes. I watched a couple other videos of installing heads. So one video I seen, and it was the same as that other video where he did 22 foot-pounds, then 90 degrees, and then 70 degrees. But then I just seen another video where they were using ARP head bolts, not even studs. And he did 25, then 50, and then 75 foot-pounds. Just 25 foot-pounds, then 50 foot-pounds, and 75 foot-pounds. So I'm not really for sure. I guess I can try doing that. I do have the big torque wrench right there. So I can try doing it just in foot-pounds and see if that makes a difference. But then again, these are the China studs. They're not even ARP. But yeah, so what I want to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and get the head gasket set in place. And then I'm going to roll this head over on its side. Make sure the bottom side is all wiped down and nice and clean. And then I'll go ahead and get the head set back in place once it's all clean. Then I'll start putting thread tape in all of these coarser threads and start threading them back into the engine. And yeah, kind of go from there. So, and then I think I'm going to put a dab of blue Loctite on these as well, just to kind of lock them in place. So yeah, that's what I'm going to get started on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this gasket set on and then start cleaning up this head, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright you guys, so I was using the thread tape. I've got all 5 of the bottom head studs with thread tape, and then I got this one done with thread tape, and then I ran out. So the other 4 upper head studs I had to use RTV. So it's not really what I wanted to do, but I don't really have any other choice here. So yeah, I'm just going to continue on and finish installing the washers on the other 4 studs, and hopefully I don't have any issues with any more leaks. Hopefully this fixes everything, but I don't know, it's really gonna depend. So I just wanted to let you guys know, I guess if you're putting an engine together, make sure you have enough thread tape to do all. I still have the rear head to do, so yeah, I thought I had enough, but I guess tomorrow or later today, in the daylight, I'm gonna have to make a run to Walmart and get some more thread tape, and that's if I can even afford it. I think I have like $4 or $5, so I might have enough, I might not, but yeah, that's where we're sitting right now. So I'm at least gonna start getting these nuts put back on and start kind of just tightening it down a little bit at a time just to get it snug. And then I still have to clean up the other washers and nuts for the top 5, but these are the main ones. So there we go, nice and clean. So I'm gonna start getting these all threaded on, and I'll give you guys another update once I have all 10 of these on and snugged down. Alright you guys, so I just got the front head first pass, 22 foot-pounds. You can see I'm on the 2 under 30, that's 22. If I would go over to 0, that'd be at 20. So first pass I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know why they do it weird like that, but I've got them all done. So the second pass is normally going to be 90 degrees and then an additional 70 degrees. So I'm still kind of undecided on what I want to do as far as that yet. I think I may go ahead and try to do 50 foot-pounds and then like 75 or 80 foot-pounds and just see. I don't want to try to snap anything off, but I'm going to attempt just to see how it goes. There was never a video when they torqued it by foot-pounds, 50 or 25, 50, 75. There was never a video of it starting and running or if it leaked or anything. That's just how they installed those heads with ARP bolts. So fingers crossed I don't have any issues. I mean, it's looking like everything's seating nice. So yeah, I'm happy with it. At least she's going back together. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and adjust the torque wrench to 50 and we'll go for a second pass. So alright you guys, well I've already ran into an issue. So I got the first stud to torque down to 50 foot-pounds, no problem. And then I went to number 2 and it's just spinning and spinning and spinning. It's not tightening up. So I don't know if the stud is stripped out a little bit to where it's just not clamping it down, or I don't know if it's the other side in the block that's stripped out. But one of the two is stripped out and it's just spinning and spinning. So I'm gonna have to pull this middle one back off, which is thrown off the whole fucking man, this is it's not good. I guess I'm gonna go look through the shed for some stock head bolts and see if I can find some stock head bolts, because these China studs aren't gonna cut it. So yep, I'm gonna go look through the shed right now, try to find some stock head bolts, and I'll give you guys another update. Well, I went through all the LS stuff in the shed. I have no stock factory head bolts at all. I've went through my bolt bin. I found one 3800 head bolt, but I don't think it's the right threads. So I guess this is my stopping point. I don't want to go any further. So, man, this really blows. I was really hoping to get this thing all back together. But I guess that's what happens sometimes. So, really sucks. But alright, I'm going to, I guess start getting everything picked up, and I guess I'm going to have to figure out some way to buy some actual head bolts for this thing, and put it back together another time. So I guess I'm just stuck driving the Grand Am for another week, because even if I order something online, I did see some like factory style head bolts for like $39.99 on eBay, and they've got the little orange Loctite thread locker stuff in the or thread sealant thread locker in the threads like stock. So I might try to get those. I did just get a notification a couple minutes ago that I have a radio bezel for sale on eBay, a 5-button DIC one, and I guess it sold. So I have it boxed up and taped up inside. I've just got to print a shipping label and then go drop it off, and it'll be 3 or 4 days before I actually get the money for that. So I won't be able to order those head bolts until I get the money. So I'm pretty much at a standstill on this, other than I could tear apart the rear head. But I think for tonight, I'm just going to take the push rods and kind of just stick them back in their hole and just set the rockers in there and just set the valve cover on. And that's going to be as far as I get tonight, because there's no point in torquing the other studs down if I'm going to have to pull them back out. So I don't want to get a nice good seal with all the other ones and then loosen them, and then it starts peeling up all this sealant. See, this is just like scraping off pretty much, and I'm not sure if that's from the old, like this is the old gasket, but I'm not sure if that's being blown out from maybe those head studs not grabbing good enough, or I'm not really for sure. But I don't want to torque these down and then make the new gasket start to peel off like that one. So I'm just going to leave it how it is. And I'm just going to try to order some stock head bolts. And we'll just pull these out one at a time. Swap in the stock head bolts. Torque everything. And I'll just do the rear head the same way. So I might leave the little studs up there as the head studs, just because I didn't really seem to have an issue with those. It was only, well, so far it's only been with that one middle one, but I don't want to chance it. So yeah, that sucks. But I guess y'all have a good night, and I'm gonna get everything picked up, and I'll catch you guys here in a few days whenever I get some new head bolts. Hey YouTube, so it's Monday. It's been a couple of days. Went out to Danny's today and got some head bolts out of a truck. Well, a couple of trucks. And I just came back over here to the house. Got all the head bolts. Was feeling good about myself. It was like $21 and some change for all those bolts. So I just got back over here to the house. And I went ahead and pulled out the stud, because that's the one that was giving me problems. And here's the stud. So the fine threads for the nut is fine. This is all just thread tape from me pulling the washer off. But then if you go to the coarse side, that actually goes into the threads, that there is aluminum. Damn it. Yeah, but those are chunks of aluminum. This fucking piece of shit phone. Yeah, there we fucking go. Fucking shit ass phone. But yeah, that's chunks of aluminum in the threads. So pretty much it pulled the threads out of the block. It's going to have to be tapped and either a bigger bolt put in, or it's going to need a helicoil. And unfortunately, I just don't have any of that. I don't have money for any of that right now, so I don't know. I just don't know. So, yeah, that took a huge turn. God damn. I'm so pissed off. Don't buy China studs. They suck dick. So, yeah. That's where I'm sitting at right now. So, I guess the front head's going to have to come back off, along with the gasket. And I'm going to have to get somebody to do something with this threads in this hole. Hopefully the other one's torqued down. I know this one did. I didn't try any other ones yet. I just was trying to go in sequence. But yeah, that's where I'm sitting. So I guess whenever I figure something else out, I will give you guys another update. But as of right now, I think it's just junk. So it's just going to sit here for a while. Alright, y'all, I just pulled the head back off to try to check out these threads. Oh, wow. Looks trashed. That one's thread tape. Yeah, that's all thread tape. It's just that one that looks like it's actually threads in there. Yeah, that definitely looks like aluminum. I'm gonna grab the little borescope. Alright, so I got the little borescope. So we're gonna scope her in there. That definitely looks like threads. It's super shiny. God, that sucks. Well, there went $1,000 engine. Fucking ridiculous. Well, I don't know what to do. I don't have any other bolts. I don't have any other money. I had to borrow the $20 just to go get those, so I don't know what else to do, guys. Besides put it back together, torque down the other head bolts, and just say fuck that one and let it have a blown head gasket. I mean, I want this thing to be a daily, but with it putting exhaust into the coolant and dumping coolant out the exhaust, burning it, there's just no way. I mean, with that head bolt stripped out, it was good enough to drive up to the smoke shop and back, or over to David's and back, and that was really it. I couldn't really go anywhere. Well, I don't know, you guys. I just don't know. So, yeah, I guess I'm gonna look around, see if I can find like a helicoil kit or something, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, y'all, so I just got the tap kit in the mail. So let's see what we got. We got drill bits, taps, there's a cutting fluid, red Loctite, and these are the studs and everything. Sweet. Or inserts, not studs. Awesome. see what we got in here. Oh, so this is like the part that, this is the thing you like bolt down to the head, and I'm pretty sure your bit goes through there. I'm sure there's some instructions in here somewhere. There we go, it looks nice. Alright. And these must be all the inserts. Yeah. That's all the inserts. Well, those are a lot bigger than what they look like in the picture. Well, that's cool. That's exactly what I need, so... Man, I really hope this works out well. It is M11x2 modified inserts. It says 21. I guess they give an extra just in case. So that's cool. It's enough to do both heads. Alright. Well, this is what's going to save the engine block from pulling the threads. So, I guess this is kind of common with aluminum engines. So, I don't feel as bad as I did. I thought I just fucked it up. But, I guess it's just common. So, especially using those cheap studs, the eBay studs, China studs. I guess that's a no-no. I wasn't aware. So, it's my mistake. I bought the cheap stuff. I'm paying the price. So now this kit says do it once, do it right. So hopefully this fixes everything. Yeah, I'm not going to start it right now. We're supposed to get some rain with golf ball size hail tonight and 70-mile-per-hour winds. So my mom's going to be, she's been parking under the carport the last couple days, and I've been parking the Grand Am around the corner in my buddy Tom's driveway. He also has a carport. So, yeah, I'm trying to keep all the cars under the carport. The silver car is now gone. We got $375 for it, like I said before, which sucks because I could have easily just taken one of those wheels off, or all of them, and just threw them on the red car. Just as temporary, or just temporarily, but it is what it is. The car's already gone, so it happens. But the GXP, it's gonna make its comeback. So once I get all these installed and everything's done, I should be able to bolt the heads on with the new head gaskets. I've ordered ARP head bolts. They are reusable, and I mean, that's just what I'm going to have to deal with. Like, the studs were like $350 to $365, and I just couldn't afford the ARP studs. So, yeah, these were, or the ARP bolts I bought were like 120 something, 130 bucks. So, really not bad. And this was $530 just for this, with tax and everything. So this was quite a bit. I think it's very ridiculous, but the seller has 100% positive feedback score, and everyone was saying they hated the price, but they loved the product and they had to have it. So unfortunately, it's just one of those things where when it's in demand, they can charge more, and that's exactly what is happening with this kit. So I will leave a link to the kit down in the description. So if anybody else is having this issue where they pull a thread out of an aluminum block, then at least out of an aluminum LS. And this is for the Gen 4, so it's like 04 or 06 and newer. I want to say it's 04 and newer, but it might be 06 and newer. But it's for Gen 4 LS aluminum block engine. So specifically what this kit is for. But yeah, I'm going to quit rambling on, and I'll probably catch you guys maybe tomorrow. If it's not raining tomorrow's Saturday, and I'll actually be able to do some work on the car. So as long as it's not raining tomorrow, then the plan is to come out here and start getting to work on this. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update whenever I start working on getting everything set up to drill these head bolt holes. So I finally got all the taps and all the inserts for the head bolts. So I'm still waiting for the head bolts. It's going to be a couple more days. I think it said Wednesday. Today is Monday, day after Easter Sunday. So this is the kit. It's NS300L. I got this on eBay. It was $530 with tax. Thanks to my mom, she let me borrow the money. So yeah, hopefully this works, because this was super expensive. Then plus it was another 130 bucks for the ARP head bolts kit. So like I said, those will be here in a couple days. But I've got to get the tapping and the drilling and tap and Loctite the new inserts into the holes, and then it has to sit for 24 hours before you bolt down and torque on the head. So this is the full kit. This is all the little billet pieces that come with it. And so this is like the insert you put, once you drill the hole, you put this in the hole, and that keeps the tap straight. And then there's another one in here somewhere that's smaller that fits into this hole, and that keeps the drill bit straight, so you can drill the hole out with the drill bit. There's another piece in here. I'm sure that's where the other little round piece is. And then, or maybe it was this one. And then this bolts on so you can line up your hole. Yeah, something like that. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I'm going to look through these instructions again and just go over everything before I actually drill or do anything. I did find a video on YouTube of, I think it was a guy in a machine shop that was building, it was like a Corvette aluminum block. And he did the same thing. He bought this exact same kit, and it uses all these exact same pieces. So I watched that video to kind of get an idea of it. He only did like 2 or 3 of the fittings. I'm going to do all of them, just because I don't want to have any more issues with it. So the first thing he did was he got the mating surface nice and clean, and then he put blue painter's tape. So I've got to get in the shed, grab my painter's tape. I'm going to go over the whole head mating surface. I'm going to cover up all of these lifter holes and everything, and cover up all the pistons so that nothing gets down in the coolant jackets or down in the lifters or in the cylinders. So the only access I'm going to have are to the actual bolt holes once I actually make a hole in the tape. So I'm going to get in the shed, grab my tape, and I'm going to get this covered up, and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright you guys, so I got some blue tape, but it wasn't sticking to the head. So I have this 3M, it's like metal flashing for roofing, and like sealing up pipes on the roof. And so I've got it to kind of stick. It's not super great, but it's at least somewhat on there. I just used one of the stock head bolts that I got from the salvage yard to poke all the holes. And yeah, so now I need to open up these instructions, just kind of go over everything, double check I'm getting everything set up right and I'm using the right parts. And yeah, the first one I want to try is that one there, because that is the hole that it pulled the threads out whenever I was trying to torque the head. So I'm going to start with that hole first, but I do want to go and do all the holes on this side of the engine. So that's next up. So I'm going to go ahead and bust these instructions open, just kind of show and go over what we need to do, how we need to set it up, and kind of go from there. Alright, so we've got instructions here. So this shows everything that comes in the kit. Alright, so over here she's showing the kit. So that's this piece. I guess we have to put the spacer that's in the paper there on top before you bolt it down with the head bolt. And then this aligns the drill bit to your hole to keep it centered. And then after that, you swap out this for the tap. And then do the insert. So I guess I need to get this piece opened up here so I can get this little extension piece for the head bolt. And I need to get this bolted down, I guess, onto one of these two head bolt holes so I can line it up with this bottom one. So that's what I'm about to do right now. Get this opened up and I'll give you another update. Alright, so these are my spacers. So it looks like this is the one I'm going to need. Let's see. Yep. So that's pretty much going to go like this. And then we can thread that in. And then we'll line that up. So it came with this little alignment pin. This goes in the hole. Looks like that's aligned. Now this side gets tightened down. If we pull that pin, that looks pretty damn centered. All right. Next step is going to be the drill bit. Since that is bolted down, drill the holes using the 7/32 drill bit that comes in the kit. Light penetrating oil to keep the drill lubricated. Retract the drill several times to clear the debris from the drill bit flutes. After you drill to the specified depth, you can remove the drill bushing from the jig, then drill the remainder of the hole without it. This will allow for more chip clearance. Drill to the depth specified. Do not force drill if it bottoms out. If you drilled as deep as you can with the jig in place, you'll find you cannot drill to the depth specified in the instructions. Remove the jig block to finish drilling. Okay. And then next will be the tap after that. So that's next step. Alrighty. So here we go. We need the drill bit. It said 17/32. So it's going to be this middle bit first. Alright. Awesome. Sweet. Alright. So here's the bit. So let's get this opened up. Get it set in there. I need to see if I'm even going to have room for my drill. Oh, maybe. I know it really looks like this just needs to come out of here, but it's such a pain in the ass. I know I might be able to get around it some. We'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm going to open up this drill bit and try to get this set up, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, well, I've got the bit in the drill. And if you see, I can't even get it to go in the hole. It needs to go down more. So I'm probably going to have to remove the fans and this hose, which really sucks. I should be able to get to all the top ones, no problem. Well, I didn't really want to have to pull the engine back out, but I'm probably going to have to pull the engine back out. So, especially if I've got to do the rear head, I'm probably going to have to pull the engine out. So, I think instead of continuing on, I'm just going to hold off for right now. I'm going to pull this stuff back apart. And, yeah, I'm just going to leave this how it is until I don't have to worry about the manager lady showing up and trying to tow off my car. So, yeah, I'm going to get all of my stuff picked back up, and we will pick this up another time. Alright, hey there YouTube. So it's been a couple of days. The ARP head bolts got delivered today. Awesome. Well, there and all the fucking rockers just fell on the fucking ground. I don't know how it even slid off the fucking hood. Like, the wind's not even blowing. But anyways, so the ARP head bolts came in today. So I got the whole kit back out. Got everything lined up. You take this alignment pin, you put this in here to where it centers in the hole. So pretty much it's just sitting in there like this to center it up. You snug this down. I used an impact with one of the stock head bolts that I got from the salvage yard. They're the shorter ones. And so now that's got this lined up. So now what I had to do is I had to pull the two 15 mil nuts off the bottom side of the front mount, and then I have the jack on the oil pan, and I've just lifted the engine up. So it's got a little gap over here, like 1.5 inches or so. So that's lifted the front of the engine so that now I can actually get this to go down in place, and it is in there straight and level. So I'm probably going to go up one more turn just so the drill isn't hitting the radiator support, but it's looking pretty good. It's pretty straight. So this is my main problem child here, is this middle lower bolt hole. That's the one that pulled the threads. So I'm going to do this one first and kind of just show you guys the process, and then after that I'm probably just going to concentrate and do the others, and then I'll just give you guys another update. So pretty much this is the thing. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and raise this up another turn. So now we're off of the radiator support. So this is going to be it. So I know he said to drill down until you can feel the resistance. You don't want to just keep going and drilling all the way through. So just keep that in mind. So in the video, it went down about this much. So that's how far I need to go. And yeah, I'll give you guys another update here in just a minute. Alright, you guys, so I was just going through the instructions again. Alright, so this, the main page, this says so you use the spacer provided, then you drill the holes the entire length of the original hole depths, approximately 2 3/4 inches or 70 millimeters, making sure to remove all the factory threads. So I've got it drilled out. I went slow, drilled a little at a time, kept checking. I've been using the shop vac to suck the metal shavings, and then also using the air compressor to blow them out of the hole while I'm holding the shop vac right here to suck the shavings out. And so it seems to be doing not too bad so far. Everything's looking pretty good. Looks like I've got all of the original threads. So I need to remove the jig, and then I need to measure the depth to see how far I have the hole. So I need to grab this. Set that right there. Need to stick that down in. So we're looking at a little over 2 inches. So I still need to go deeper because it says 2 3/4. So I need to go like another, yeah, about another 1/2 inch or so. Because see, it was just after 2, and that's about 2 3/4. So yeah, you could tell I need to go just a little bit further. So I'm gonna throw the little jig piece back in and continue drilling out that hole a little bit more. So y'all give me just a second. Alright, you guys, so I just got this done. I did like 5 different passes, kept pulling the bit out, kept adding in some of the Tap Magic. It works really good as drill bit cutting fluid. And so you can see it's all the way down to where it ended originally, nice and smooth. Then blowing it out. So I have this set to 2 3/4, and then if you stick this in, see, perfect. And that's as far in as it goes. It's right there. So the next thing it says to do is after you drill, the inserts are to be installed 14 millimeters deep from the deck surface to the top of the insert. So I guess I need to remove this little piece so I can, 14 millimeters. What? 0.550 inch deep. So a 1/2 inch deep from the deck surface. Well, I guess we're gonna figure it out together. So, one thing it says to do is I have to, this is the drill bit insert. There is another one over here that is for the tap. So that is gonna have to go in there. And I've got to bolt that back on and kind of go from there. So, bear with me, y'all. Alright, you guys, so I've been going through all this stuff. So after I finished drilling, it says now you can, we can start using the jig again and relocate it. We have to use the 3-flute plug tap, which is going to be this one first. So this is the first one I'm going to use. We had to change out the bushing. And then you still have to use the alignment pin. But they said now the alignment pin is the same diameter. Yep, there we go. Nice and smooth, doesn't bind. So, now I need to take this. It needs to go back in here. Okay, I don't know if that's right. But yeah, so this needs to go back on the same way I just had it. This needs to align it, and then we can get ready for the tap. And then I need to find my little tap and die kit, because I have the little handle that you use to actually tap. I just didn't have the right size taps. So I'm going to go in the shed and get my little tap kit for the handle piece. And I need to get this set back up on here, just like it shows here. And we'll start cutting this. And it says you have to thread it about 2 inches deep and then remove the jig. And then after we use the 3-flute, then you have to use the 4-flute one after that to get the last bit of threads in the very bottom of the hole. So I'm going to attempt to do this. Hopefully I don't fuck it up, because if I fuck it up, then this is a $1,000 engine gone to waste. So it'll pretty much be junk. So I'm going to give this a shot, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, I've got my little piece here. And so this is out of this little kit, and it's meant to do all these little bits. So whenever I try to put this in to line up these notches for the corners, it actually hits the threads on these, which is what holds that together. So I'm having to just do it like this in a little square, but it fits. So I just got that one tapped down as far as I could with the first bit. So now I have to remove the block as per the instructions. So, in proper tap wrench, thread the hole 2 inches deep, then you can remove the jig. This will make it easier to clean out the metal shavings. When threading the remainder of the hole, you should back out the tap often and remove the chips created, or the metal shavings created by the tap, so it will not jam. Failure to do so could cause the tap to break. Never use power tools for the tap. So it is normal for the tap to cut into the diameter of the head alignment bushing seats. This will not affect the fit or alignment of the locating dowels when reinstalled. Use the oh, that's next. So yeah, so after this step, once I remove this, drill or thread it down as far as I can with this tap, then after that, then we'll go to the next step, which is going to be the 4 flute, which I think is just a little longer, and that's going to get us all the way down to the bottom of the hole. So that's what I'm going to do right now, is remove this little jig, get this tap set back on here, and start threading it back in. And we need to get that as far down with this tap bit as I can. So y'all give me just a minute, and I'll give you another update. All right, so I've got this threaded back in as far as I could get it. I just took some of the Tap Magic, and as I turned it, I put some in that one, turned it a little bit, put some in that one, turned it a little bit. And there's 3 flutes on this one. So that's as far as I had got it with the jig. So now I'm going to continue going down as far as I can get it to go. And hopefully, fingers crossed, no issues. So don't go nowhere, I'll give you another update. Alright y'all, so this is as far down as I could get it to go. And as I went, I kept backing it off. And then adding oil. Ooh. Come on. Alright, let me get this off of here. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up. It should just thread back out. Alright, there we go. Had to blow it out with the air compressor. I guess it must have had a metal shaving stuck or something. Alright. There we go. You see all the oil. Nice. Looks like we've got it most of the way down to the bottom. Awesome. Looking good. Alright, so I'm going to use the air. I'm going to blow this off. We're going to switch over to the 4 flute tap bit. And we're going to oil it up and thread it in. And just try to get the last little bit in the bottom, because it says this is tapered, so it doesn't get the last few threads at the very bottom of the hole. So that just needs to go just a tiny little bit, cut the last little few holes, and then we should be good to thread in the insert with Loctite. Oh, Loctite's in the front seat. Come with red Loctite. So I'm going to go ahead and get this opened up. We'll get it, start threading in, get it oiled up, and we'll get that one tapped to get those last few threads at the very bottom of the hole. And I'll give you another update. Alright. So, I just used the 4 flute tap bit with oil. Got it all the way down. So everything's looking good so far. So I just blew this hole out with the air and the shop vac. Try to get all the shavings out that I could. It looks really good though. So, next step is the insert. And then you have to use this little tool that's in the bag still, this little T looking thing. And I guess that kind of goes into this slot right here and actually spins this down in there. And then as you can see, it's no threads on the inside at the top, just how it would be from factory, like those. See, there's no threads at the top, so that's what it's going to give us, is the exact same. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, I guess now I can, let's see. Alright, we did that. Alright, thoroughly clean, newly threaded hole of any metal flakes. Next, check to make sure the inserts will install to the correct depths prior to adding the thread lock. Okay, so I need to grab this little tool and make sure that this is going to thread all the way down in there. Alright, so it's looking like for this, just like it shows here, you just use a little tool. The end right there fits in these little tabs at the top side. So it just slides in there. Oh, if I can get a grip on it. There we go. Yeah, like that. And then you can thread it down. So I'm going to try to thread this down, make sure it goes all the way down in there. And so let's just try it. Alright. Use our little tool here. Not gonna lie, there are a couple spots where it's a little hard to turn, like I don't want to force it, but this little tool doesn't give you very much leverage. Oh no, okay, hold on. Let me make sure I got all the metal shavings out of here, because I do not want to fuck this up. This is my treble head bolt hole, so definitely do not want to fuck this up. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the air back on and try to, I still see some shit in there. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get all the stuff out of this hole, and then we'll try this again. Alright, so I got it all blew out, and it just threaded down in there with the tool, no problem. Looks like it went to the very bottom of the hole. So hopefully all good. So now I need to use a tool, pull it back out almost all the way. I'm going to put red Loctite all over it and thread it back down in there, and then it's got to sit for, I think it said at least 12 hours in the video I watched on YouTube. So let's see. Thoroughly clean, newly threaded hole. Make sure the inserts will install to the correct depth prior to adding the, for insert, let's see. Add a light coating of penetrating oil to the outside of the insert prior to making sure the insert will screw into the correct depth. This will help prevent the soft aluminum from fusing to the steel insert. Alright, after insert depth is confirmed, remove the insert, clean the threaded hole outside and thread of the insert with brake clean to remove all oil residue. After the brake cleaner evaporates, add a couple drops of thread lock to the newly threaded hole, approximately 1 inch from the deck surface. So I need to actually stick the thread lock down in the hole, squirt the thread lock, and then thread this back in. Do not get thread lock on the internal threads of the insert. Install the insert with the installation tool until the insert is installed to the correct depth. Thread lock sets up fast once you start installing the insert. Continue until it is installed to its final depth. Allow thread lock to sit for 1 to 2 hours before installing the head bolts. Okay, well on that video he said 12 hours. So that's cool. Alright, so now I need to pull this insert back out with the tool, get the thread lock, get it thread locked, and then put this back in, and this hole will be done. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done right now, and I'll give you all another update. God damn. Alright, so I've got it red Loctite. You can see some of it down there in the bottom of the hole. And I'll let it run down the threads, then I thread it in this insert. It's looking good so far. So hopefully we are good. And then we go from the top of that insert. Looks like we're just over 1 inch from the deck. See on the left. Yeah, just like 1.25 inches. So, here, actually, I know. Stick that back in there. I'll push this down. So yeah, we're just over 1 inch. Just under 1.25 inches. So, not bad. I'll have to go back and double check. I don't remember what it said it should be. For insert depths. .550 inches deep from the deck surface to the top of the insert. See page 4, figure 4 of the installation guide. So it's got to go pretty much all the way to the bottom of the hole. Alright, yeah, so I did it right. Cool. So there it is. Now that needs to dry for a couple hours and I need to move on to the next ones. So I guess I can excuse me, start setting up the alignment block on the next hole. And yeah, I'll try to get that one next. And then I should be able to get to that one as well. I'll probably just have to move these hoses out of the way, but I should be able to get to that one. Damn. And then I've also got to get these over here. So it looks like, oh no, that's the one for the dowel. Okay. That one as well. So those are a little chamfered and go down in there a little bit. They're like machined out for the dowel pins that align the head or hold the head on. But man, that looks great. I'm very happy with that. I'm really glad I didn't fuck it up. So now I'm going to move on to these other ones and I'll give you all another update. Alright you guys, so now that I've done the first one, I just got the second hole drilled. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do all of the bottom holes that I can get to drill. And then once I get them all drilled, then I will swap to the taps. And then I'll do each one with the same tap and the oil. And then I'll switch to the 4-flute and do all of those tap with the oil. And then I'll do all the inserts at the, at the end. So I just got this hole drilled. It's all the way to the bottom. It's ready to be tapped. So I guess I'll do this one first and then that one. And that one's probably going to be the hardest because it's over here in the corner. If I undo these hoses and tuck this harness, that shouldn't be an issue. So I know for sure I can pull this harness back up out of the way. I can get this hose out of my way. Just that hose. So if I undo this little hose and pull it out of the way, I should have plenty of room to get the drill in there. Hopefully it's pretty close. So I might have enough room. We'll just have to see how it goes. So but yeah, I'm gonna drill this hole and this hole, and then I'll work on that bottom hole, and then we'll do some taps. So I guess I'll give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so far I just got this one here done. I've got this one done. The middle one is completely done, inserted. This one is done and drilled. So this is the last one on the bottom I have to drill. So hopefully I can get the drill and the drill bit in here and it's not hitting the housing, so I can get that one drilled out, but it's getting really close. So I just got to drill this last one out, and then I can tap the remaining 4 on the bottom, and then the top ones are going to be really easy to get to. So yeah, so I'm going to finish getting this last one, and then I'll go back and I'll start tapping all of those lower holes, because in order to use this jig, I have to have another hole somewhere for it to thread into so I can line up the upper hole. So I'm going to get all the bottom ones done, get them all tapped, and then I'll do the top 5 and then get those retapped. So making good progress. Y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so now I've got all 5 of the bottom ones all drilled out. This one was a pain. I had to back out this bolt because it was sticking out here and it was hitting on the drill, like on this where you actually turn it to change the speeds. So it was hitting on this, and then it was also hitting up here on the top there. It was a tight squeeze, but I managed to get it drilled out. Looks like she went all the way to the bottom like it was supposed to. So looks identical to that one. So it looks like I did good. So now I've got to get this thing set back up on each of these, and I got to get the tap insert, and now it's going to be tapping. This one is going to be a pain just because of its location, but I don't really have a choice. So I don't really know. I guess I'm going to have to use what's the extendable wrench, crescent wrench, and I guess put over a little square and just do like little turns at a time, I guess. This one I might be able to get. I think the handle is going to end up hitting the housing, so it's probably going to be a lot of pulling it off and putting it back on. But these over here should be fine. I can move this out of my way. So I'm going to do these two first and then these two. So I'm going to go ahead and get this piece set back up, get these two done, and then do those two, and I'll give you another update. Alright, you guys, so I've got this one here is done. I just need to blow and clean it out. That one there is done. Tapped all the way down. And then I started on this one, and I was able to use this for part of it, but then the handle kept hitting right here. You can see some of the marks where I was hitting it. So I went through my tool bag over here, and I found out that a 3/8 wrench fits right on the end. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this Tap Magic down in those threads, and I'm going to try to get this bottomed out as far as I can in that hole. And then we'll pull it out, and then I guess I must have forgot to blow and vacuum that one. So I'll blow and vacuum that one and blow and vacuum this one. And that's going to be the fun one in the corner. But at least I know I can use this wrench. So I should be able to get it done. I'm going to finish this one and then blow and clean both of these holes out. And then I'll give you guys another update before I start on this last one. Alright, YouTube. So yeah, the memory card, the SD card that David gave me, the 500 gig, has been giving me some issues. As you've seen in the last video, some of the files and stuff got corrupt. Well, now on this video, so last night I worked on this. So I got all 5 of the bottom head bolt holes drilled and tapped and Loctited the inserts in, and the bottom 5 were good to go. Well, right after I was like in the middle of tapping this hole, which was the last clip, and like that was the last clip. Then after that I got this one done. Everything was still taped off, and I set the head back on, and you know, kind of just how it is right now, and just stacked stuff in here, picked up all the tools, and I went in. Well, then today was a nice day, so I come out here and I did the top 5. And I don't know, like last night after after I recorded them, I could still go back and watch them. They were still on my phone. And then I don't know, today I was like recording a couple other videos while I was working on this, and I happened to, while I was in the camera, I accidentally hit the gallery button. And whenever it popped up, it was just a bunch of white with like an exclamation mark. And I'm like, what the hell? And I clicked on it and it says play video. But then whenever I click on it, it says it can't open the video. So there was like at least 9 or 10, I think. I would have to count them. But I'll put in a screenshot showing. But yeah, it just corrupted all of the video, like everything from today. All 5 of the top holes got corrupt. And then I also, it corrupted the clip for once I got this done. And then I also wanted to show that all of the bolt holes lined up perfect. I even showed, I put the head gasket, the brand new head gasket on, and all 10 of the bolt holes line up perfect. So I'm really proud of myself. It's this was very stressful just because I didn't want to do it wrong and fuck it up and the block be junk. Like, I paid $1,000 just to get the engine, so, and that's not including the cam and all the other stuff that's gone into it. And now just between this drill and tap kit and those head bolts, that's like another $700 into it, and I still got to do Title 42, and that's another $450. So it's very expensive. And so if I would have fucked this up and it didn't work, I probably would have just gave up. So I probably would have cut my losses with it and done something else. But hopefully everything goes good from here on out. I have removed that 500 gig SD card, and I have my original 16 gig back in. It's not a shit ton, but it's I know it works. I know it's a good brand. So this one is a PNY brand. But as you see, like, all the holes for the top are lining up. So like the head's pretty much like on there. It's just sitting on the dowels right now. So the head gasket is on. The head is just set on. I got this bolted back on. I had to unbolt these 3 and those 3 bolts and move this like a ½ an inch over to be able to drill out both of these holes closest to this water pump housing. So this was definitely in the way for the upper one. The drill was sitting right in here. So if anybody else is having to do this in the car, you can get to all 10 of the front head bolt holes with a drill and that massive drill bit, and you can get all the front ones no problem. Now if you have like an air drill that's like a 90 with the chuck, you might be able to get the rear ones in the car, but for how long that drill bit is and how big my drill is, there's no way I would have it would be hitting the firewall. And then to even get the bolts, like the head studs out, you have to remove the rear exhaust manifold, and even if I unbolt the downpipe and then unbolt the manifold, it's not going to come out. There's no way. There's a brake booster in the way over here, and the transmission, and yeah, there's no way it's going to come out. So yeah, to get to the rear for me, like, I'm going to have to pull the engine if it comes down to that. But my plan is I'm just going to put it back together. I have the brand new gasket on, not the one I had on it whenever it pulled the threads in the last video. Yeah, not the gasket from whenever I put it together and it pulled the threads out of this hole. But this is the other, it was supposed to be the rear gasket, but I'm going to leave the rear alone. I've got the brand spanking new gasket on there, all the holes lined up, the head is on. So now I've been letting that Loctite dry in the upper holes. It's been like 2.5, 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. So I think it's about time I'm going to pop this front valve cover off. I'm going to pop this ARP bolts open, and I'm going to start setting them all down in place. And I've got to get that lube out. It comes with instructions and everything. And yeah, it also came with the ARP sticker, so I think I'm going to slap the ARP sticker on in here somewhere. But yeah, I think I'm just going to start putting it back together, get the front head on, get it all torqued down. And then after I get the front head torqued down, I think I'm just going to put it back together and just run it. And if I still have the same issue, then I'll know that the rear head has pulled some. But I did see coolant leak from the back one time, but I don't know, don't know. I mean, whenever the radiator was leaking, it could have been like running down or something. Or whenever it was overflowing here, it could have been running down and like dripping off the oil pan, making it look like it was in the back. But I don't know, I think I'm just gonna bolt the front head on, get it all torqued down, put it back together, and just see what happens. And then if it's still doing the same thing, I mean, it shouldn't be as bad because I've already done the front head right. And so with ARP shit, this is good quality stuff, so this should torque down as long as I follow the instructions and get the torque lube on and do exactly how it says. These should torque down, and the front should be 100% good to go. So if I still have the same issue, it's got to be the rear, and I'll have to like drive the car to a storage, rent a storage unit for a month, and just pull the engine out over there and pull the rear head off and do the rear. But yeah, I think for right now I'm just going to send it and go for it and just hope for the best. So I guess y'all bear with me, stay with me, and I keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so I've got the front head on. All the ARP head bolts are in, lubricated, torqued to spec. Got the push rods lubricated and put back in. Got the rockers on. Got those tightened down and torqued down. And then got the valve cover on. And then I replaced one spark plug because the tip of it was broke. Where'd it go? Oh, spark plug, yeah. Look at that. Completely broken off. So yeah, I went and got one new one. And yeah. So I believe that's in cylinder 3. So tomorrow I will get the fans back in, get all this bolted back up, get the front manifold on and the crossover and the intake, and start getting everything else put back together. And fingers crossed it was only the front head and not the rear head also, but it's a 50-50 chance. So I don't know, I don't want to pull the engine back out and do the rear, so I'm just taking a chance with it. If it works, it works. If it don't, then I'll have to go rent a storage or something and pull the engine and do the rear head too. But for now, it's just going to go back together. So I'm going to get all my stuff picked up. This is my stopping point. Made some great progress today. And so as long as it's not raining tomorrow, then I'll continue with it tomorrow in the daylight. Alright you guys, so it's the next day, or I guess it's 2 days later because it's like 1:30 in the morning. But so I just pulled the rear valve cover, just kind of checking everything out. I mean, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Everything looks good. Man, I wish the rear manifold wasn't in the way. But even if I unbolt it, I mean, it can only move like an inch out of the way. It's not really going to go very far. There's just so much other stuff in the way of trying to even get it out of the way. So yeah, I don't think that's going to work. But I mean, overall everything's looking pretty good. Open valve. Open valve. But yeah, I just went over the rockers, just trying to check and make sure everything looks good. I mean, everything still looks really clean. So I'm probably just gonna wipe that surface down, put the valve cover back on, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the intake manifold remounted. I'm gonna wipe all this down. I still need to remove this cover and put on the new gasket, and then I'll put this back down, torque it, and go from there. And then I swapped out the old leaky hose that was on there. It's a little bit smaller diameter. I've just got to get it to go down a little bit more, but she's getting there. yeah, I've got to get that to go down like another 1/2 inch. And that hose will be good. I can get the lower end, or the, I guess, intake manifold on. And they thread into all these here in the head. Get the intake manifold on. Then I can start getting the alternator bracket back on. Get the power steering pump and everything mounted back up. And yeah, kind of go from there. So I guess I'm going to throw this rear valve cover back on. And get that wiped down. Get it all bolted back down. And then I'll continue on with the alternator bracket and all the pulleys on the side, the power steering. There's a couple of these 2 bolts here. Hold the power steering lines to the block so they're not moving around and rubbing on the belt. So I've got to get those back reinstalled. And yeah, kind of just go from there. So guess y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I got the rear valve cover reinstalled. It's all nice and snug down. Before I put it on, I went over all the rockers just to make sure they were torqued down. So everything looked good. Got the valve cover back on. I was about to remove the valley cover to swap out that gasket, even though it's brand new and came with this valley cover. And the bolts weren't even... like, they were snug, but they, you know, I got like another 1/2 a turn on them. So I just snugged them all down. And I guess they never got torqued or something. So I just snugged them all down with the ratchet. It was, you know, very simple. Got it done. So I went ahead and threw on the intake manifold and the fuel rail. I've already reconnected the brake booster line going to the intake. I've already started getting some of this stuff bolted back down and plugged in. Got the fuel line on. I just need to tighten that down. Went ahead and got the battery in with the battery tie down, and I just got to snug down this one bolt over here, but I've got that one tightened up because once, let's see, I had to use all these extensions with the 13 and go through over here. So once I put the fans back in, the fans are going to be right in the way. So I just went ahead and got that snug down. And yeah, so I think I need to get in the shed, grab the fans so I can get those back down in here. I've got to bolt down. Oh, my phone's dying. But yeah, there's one bolt that's got to bolt down there. And then one bolt that's got to bolt down there. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go in the shed and grab the fans, get those slid in here, get those bolted back down. And then once I get the fans back in, then I can get the little... clamp right there, get it bolted back down. That will hold all this back out of the way. Then I can get the exhaust manifold back in there in the front with the gasket, get that tightened back down. Then I can get the crossover pipe in there, and yeah, kind of go from there. So still got to get the throttle body back on, and there's still quite a bit I got to get done, but I'm just taking it one step at a time. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update as I make some more progress. Alright, y'all. So I've got the front coils on. I've got the front exhaust manifold back on. I've got the oil dipstick tube back in. Fans are in. They're bolted down, plugged in. I've got the battery in. I've got this little pulley back on because I had to remove it earlier. I still need to tighten up these 2 clamps back up. But that's very minor. And then I've also got to hook the battery back up, but I don't want to get that done until I have everything else all hooked back up and I'm ready to put power back to the car. I guess the next thing that I need to do is probably get the alternator bracket back on over here. And I've got that laying right there with the bolts. So I can get those 4 bolts back in. Then there is a lower pulley down here somewhere that has to go back on. And then once I get the alternator bracket back on, then I should be able to get the power steering pump all back. Actually, I could probably put the power steering pump on. And then that bracket. But either way, I need to get that bracket back on and the pulley back on. Get all those bolts tight. I need to go over these 3 and those 3 back there again, just to make sure that those are really tight, because those are for the coolant passages for the water pump housing to the engine. So those definitely need to be super tight and snug. And then I still need to get the crossover pipe back on, and then once I get the crossover pipe on and bolt it back down, then I can take the harness, flop it back over, start getting all the injectors plugged back in, and then this main big harness right here needs to go underneath, or no, maybe I think it lays across the top here, but it comes right through here and it goes into the fuse box right there. And then there is the harness. There's a plug that runs down here to the cam position sensor on the timing cover, and that goes underneath this line, and it runs down and it clicks onto this little piece here and runs right down with this power steering line down there and plugs into the timing cover. But she's getting there, making a lot of progress, looking like an engine again. I mean, it's like 85% completed engine right now, so still got to get the rear coil packs on, all the spark plug wires, crossover, but it's getting there. She's coming along. So I'm gonna plug my phone in and let it charge for a little bit because it's at like 9% right now, and yeah, I'll give you guys another update here shortly. All right there, YouTube. So I've got a lot more done. I've got the crossover pipe is in and tight, got the throttle body back on, I got the hose that connects from the rear valve cover over here to the intake, and then the one that connects from the front valve cover to the, I guess, to right there on the intake tube. It is split. Damn it. Yeah, it's split, so I'm going to have to get something else to put on that. And that's just like the PCV breather, I guess. Yeah, so I've got to get that done. But I got the front coil packs and plug wires are on. I've got the rear coil packs on. The rear plug wires are right there. Got the alternator bracket back on with the pulley. Those are all tight. I've got the little clamps for the lines back on, back there and tight. So everything's nice and solid. Power steering pump is bolted back on along with the reservoir. So pretty much now I just need to get the air box in, get all that situated over there with the ECM. Need to take the harness and kind of plop it back over the top of the engine, start getting all the injectors and everything plugged back in, and the map sensor and all that stuff, coil packs. And then before I put the fuse box back in, I need to get the belt all rerouted back over everything and get the alternator on and bolted down so I can get the belt on. Then I can go from underneath and get the spring pop back into place and get the bolt back in, and that will keep the belt tensioned. And then once I get the belt on, then I can put the fuse box back in and get all that hooked up and hook up battery power. But man, it's really coming along. I wasn't expecting to get damn near the whole thing all put back together so quickly, but it's coming along. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update. All right, you guys, so I've been working on this thing. I've got pretty much everything done. I still need to tighten up my fuel rail fitting here that goes from the pump up here to the rail. It's just hand tight, but everything else is tight. Manifolds on, crossovers on, got the air box back in with the ECM and TCM, got those hooked up, and I even got it bolted down now underneath the ECM. So I actually got a nice big screw to go through. It was like a 5/16 self tapper. It's like it's one of these. It's for metal, putting metal panels on roofs. But I was able to, since this is supposed to be more turned, the actual holes don't line up because this tank is here. So I just had to make a couple of new holes, but it's at least not just moving, just free roaming in there. So now it's kind of mounted. I've got everything back together, all plugged in. The battery is in. I got both of the bolts tightened down. So now the battery is in there solid. I got the positive and negative terminals tightened down. Fuse box is in. Everything's good there. The only thing I have left to do is put the belt on, which I have one bolt right here. That's to go in the spring. but I need to turn the wheel. So other than having the belt on, everything else is done and back together. I even got the harness zip tied up a little bit to the coolant pipe here. Yeah, everything looks great. Very happy with the progress tonight. So I wasn't expecting to get everything all put back together, but shit, she is all put back together. I got all the plug wires on, all the coil packs are in, we got power in here now. So, really good progress. It's only like 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning right now, so can't start the car. But I think I'm gonna get the jack out of the shed, jack it up a little bit, turn the wheel, get the belt put back on all the way, and should be good to go. So I guess y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna get the jack, get this thing in the air, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I've already got her up in the air, turned the wheel all the way to the right. I had to use the pry bar, and I took the pry bar like this, put that end down on the subframe, and then I took the spring and put it on top of, like so. Pretty much I had the spring sitting like this, and then I had that part sitting on the subframe with the angle down to give you a little bit more torque, and I pretty much just lifted it up like that with both hands. And you got to keep the spring straight to where whenever you get it up high enough, it'll just pop on. There's a little lip, and then I was able to get the bolt and put the bolt back in, and it's good. So you just got to make sure that the belt is sitting on all the pulleys how it's supposed to, and it's not like off one rib. And as long as you do that, then that's actually the easiest way I found so far to remove and install the belt. So that is everything. The belt is on. Everything, it's back sitting on the ground. Everything is hooked up. All spark plug wires are hooked up. One thing I do need to do is I need to add some more transmission fluid, because I'm pretty sure it was a little low. So once I get it running, I'll check the transmission fluid. And then I need to get coolant, because there's probably a little in the radiator right now, but the engine should be mostly empty, and I don't have any more coolant, and I don't want to put water in it. So I guess I'll probably have to run up to Walmart here shortly and get like at least a gallon. And I don't know if it takes the whole gallon and I need some more, then I'll just put some water in it. But I guess I really need to see if it's still gonna do the bubbling and if it's leaking from the rear head or not. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully everything just works. So I didn't see any leaks coming from back there while I had it apart. I was trying to look as best I can. I mean, everything looked like it was okay, but who knows. But there she is. She's all back together, and that's some really good progress. I really wasn't expecting it to be all completely all put back together, but it's just after 6 o'clock, so I'll give it till 7:30 or 8. And it's Friday morning, so yeah, I'll give it another hour and a half or so before I come start her up, and we'll go from there. So y'all give me a bit, and I'll give you guys another update here in a couple hours. Alright, you guys, so it's 7:45, still a little early, but I've got the engine cover cleaned up and back on. I added like probably half a quart of transmission fluid. I sucked out all the old brake fluid that was in the reservoir. I was just checking fluids, and it was like green, so I sucked out everything from the reservoir and put fresh brake fluid in. And I've still got to get some coolant, so I'm waiting on that. And then I went ahead and topped off the power steering just because it was a little low. And then I had a leak from the power steering cooler in the bumper, so I tightened up the clamp on one of the lines that was leaking a little bit. And yeah, I mean, so I'm just waiting on coolant, and then I can get it filled up with coolant, and we'll do a startup and let her idle and see if the same issue persists that I was having before. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I guess I'll give you guys another update once I get some coolant. Hey there, YouTube. So it's been a few hours. It's about 3:30 p.m. Just woke up, and yeah, I don't have any money to get coolant, so I decided just to throw some water in here. That way, it'll be a good test. And if it doesn't boil and do like it was doing before, then I can always drain the water out and fill it up with coolant. But she is topped off. So I guess next thing is going to be start her up, make sure it runs, and check to see how the coolant does. So I'm going to go start her up. Hopefully we don't have any major issues. So before I even start it, I want to make sure we don't have no fuel leaks. Looks nice and dry. Alright. I didn't hear the fuel pump that time. Or that time. Oh! Still kind of looking a little bit the same. I'll just have to give it a minute and see what happens, I guess. Some slow bubbles coming out, that's normal, but all these fast ones is what's got me. I don't see any leaks coming from the rear. See all the metal shavings? Sparkly. think I'm gonna have to pull the engine and do the rear. That sucks. This is still empty. Man, that blows. I'm gonna go ahead and shut her down. And let me pop this cap on. Man, that sucks. I'm gonna go ahead and kill it just because I don't want to do any damage to the engine. But at least she's back together. She runs. Probably gonna have to pull the engine out to do the rear head. But like I said, this is all a learning experience. I guess it's kind of my fault. It's about 50-50. If I would have used ARP head bolts the first time around instead of the China studs, I probably wouldn't have had an issue. I was just spending so much money buying the engine and the cam and all the stuff. You know, I guess I tried to cheap out a little bit, and I seen head studs for 50-60 bucks. It was a pretty decent deal, so I bought them. And I had those in the first engine, the 06 engine, and everything was fine. Never had a problem. I just took them from the 06 engine, put them in this 08 engine. And, yeah, same heads. 799 heads. But, so I'm not for sure what the deal is. But, I mean, it happens sometimes, so. Unfortunately, the engine's probably going to have to come back out. And that's just how it is sometimes. So I guess at least now I can move the car if I need to, and drive it like once a week around the trailer park or something, just so they can see it moves. And I'll have to save up some money, rent a storage unit or something, and go pull the engine back out, rip the rear head off, and go from there. So I guess that's really not what I wanted, and probably not what a lot of y'all wanted, was for it to still be broken after doing all that work. But that happens sometimes. So, like I said, we'll get there. She will get there. It's just going to take a little bit more time. I've made some mistakes along the way, and now I'm having to pay the price for it. So, that happens. But I guess if you guys liked the video, leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.